Hi, my name is Khleif, and I'm the host of the Lifetime Cashflow through Real Estate Investing podcast. And every week I interview multifamily rock stars, and we talk about how they've built incredible wealth for themselves and their families through multifamily properties. So hit the like and subscribe buttons to get notified every Monday when a new episode comes out. Let's get to it. Welcome to another edition of How to Build Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing. I'm Khleif, and I am thrilled that you're here. And I'm super excited to re-interview my good friend, Tim Bratz. Now, Tim, if you don't know Tim, we interviewed him before. And the reason I actually brought him on the show the first time was I got caught up in a Facebook thread that he showed up in my Facebook, and he'd raised I don't know how much money in days. But
4 million in 48 hours.
How much was it?
4 million in 48 hours.
4 million in 48 hours. I'm like, hell, I got to get this guy on the show. And so we became friends. He's now a member of my multifamily boardroom mastermind. He's up to 3,900 doors and then some, and in them at an incredible equity position. He knows how to find good deals. And so we're going to have a lot of fun today. Welcome, brother.
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me again, and always great to chat with you. Appreciate all the value that you always bring, Rod. So excited to be here, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. So, you've got kind of a cool story. Why don't you just take a few minutes and I mean, it'll be a little redundant because you said it before on the first episode, but just bring people up to speed on how you got started, why you're here, and why you love this business, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean, high level, I went through college when the market was going gangbusters before. So 03 to 07. Everybody said, if you want to make money, get involved in real estate, right? And so as a money motivated kid at 20 years old, I decided I wanted to get involved in real estate. So I moved out I'm from Cleveland, Ohio originally, moved out to New York City. And I thought you got involved in real estate because by becoming a real estate agent. And so I became a real estate agent and worked for a commercial brokerage doing leasing on retail and office spaces, and brokered a small deal. And I looked at the numbers and how much the landlord was making over the next 12 years on that lease term. And I was like, I'm on the wrong side of the coin. I should be owning real estate, not brokering it. And so moved down to Charleston, South Carolina. After that, decided I want to be an investor, and went through that whole analysis paralysis phase and trying to learn everything and signing up for all the seminars and all the systems and all that stuff. And just realized I needed to pull the trigger on something. I needed to go and buy something. So I found the cheapest house on the MLS and called up my credit card company, had them increase my credit limit. And then I actually bought that house on my credit card with a balance transfer check. And so that was a little duplex, and it was a dump. And I put lipstick on a pig, and it was still a pig, just a little bit prettier of a pig. And but I made 14 grand in about 90, maybe 120 days on that deal. And it was my first deal ever. It was 2009. It was after the market crashed. I'm a punk 23-year-old kid at the time, and I was like, man, something's up, right? I'm making money, and everybody's telling me to run the opposite direction. So then you get into the wholesaling, right? And then you get into the HGTV flips, that kind of stuff. And then I started buying and holding rental properties, single family and some small, duplexes, quadplexes, that kind of stuff. And I just like the scale, and I like that if I'm going to flip a property, I like that I'm flipping rental properties because it's still generating revenue, right? If I don't sell it, I don't really care because it's still creating good income, covering all the holding costs and everything. So did that. And then I fell into my first apartment building in late 2012. And so
where at?
Cleveland, Ohio. So I got engaged to my girlfriend, who's now my wife, moved back to Cleveland. She's from Cleveland. And that's at the bottom basement of the market. So I bought this 8-unit building for $30,000 in a C-class area of Cleveland.
Wow.
Put some money into it, but it yielded a 33% cap rate. So, I mean, that's pretty good. And it just ended up doing it again, right? And so I didn't have a lot of money, so I just kept on trading up, and had some business partners. And that business partnership, essentially I got us up to about 140 units. And then it was just kind of not balanced out from a standpoint of who was contributing to the partnership. So.
I could have pegged that one. Guys, those of you listening, just from hearing a few minutes of Tim, who do you think did the most, had the strongest work ethic and did the most work in that partnership? Same damn thing has always happened to me in partnerships as well. Yeah. Now, luckily now I've got a partner that might work harder than I do, actually, Robert. Yeah. But it's funny. I want to continue to hear your story, but it's funny. There's some real parallels because I started out as an agent too when I was 18, got my broker's license, and I bought a house on credit card as well. So it's just kind of cool to hear the same stuff. So please continue. So that partnership obviously didn't work out.
So it was one of those things. I spent 4 years almost, building up this portfolio, and I'm liquidating 140 units. Like, I now got to start all over. The world's crumbling. Right. And it was one of those things, man, where it's like the door closes, but like 3 more open up, and just kind of the universe responded. And when I had that weight off my shoulders, it just opened me up for so much more opportunity. So in August 2015, I started building my current portfolio that I have today. And I joined a mastermind, not necessarily yours. I joined a mastermind, but that's why I believe so much in masterminds. And that's why I'm a member of your mastermind and several others, because I think, man, that paralleled so well with what
proximity is power, brother. Who you hang out with is who you become. Now, if you're going to play tennis, do you want to play somebody better than you or somebody worse than you? Obviously better. And that's how, rising tide lifts all ships. Yeah. Awesome. I joined masterminds and got involved that way. And it just, every time I went out to an event, like a mastermind, it was like a quantum leap forward. And I just jumped that much more forward, because I think what a lot of people don't realize, Rod, is like, you get to different levels in business. You're like, if I could just make it to that level, I'd be all set. Well, there's another level of problems there too, right? Like, there's another level of hurdles and obstacles, and you got to be around smart people like you and the other guys in the multifamily boardroom that can offer insights and offer intel and how to get past and push through that faster than me trying to figure it out on my own, right? It's going to cost me time and more money than just making an investment in a mastermind. So that's always been very, very powerful, and got me to where I am today. Yeah, and there's always another level. I mean, we've got a guy in there, now with 20,000 doors, another one with 17,000 doors. There's always, and there's, and then you've got guys with $2-3 billion portfolios, and so there's always another level, and you wouldn't sit still at a particular level anyway. Neither would I. It's happiness comes from progress and growth. It doesn't come from reaching a goal. If it was, you need the goals, and in fact, let's go there for just a minute before we get into the real estate stuff. Talk about how you stay motivated in your goals, because I don't think we talked about that on the last call. And I'm just curious, what drives you, and how often do you write your goals? Just talk about that whole area of your life, if you will.
I think it's a great topic. Okay. I think when you're going through different levels of life, or different, not levels, when you're going through different phases in your life, there's different things that motivate you. And early on, I told you I was a money motivated kid. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think society kind of shames that now, but I don't think there's anything wrong with being money motivated, as long as you're using money for the right purposes, right? It's not the love of money. It's what you can do with money that's noble. And so that was always, the money was a big thing. I think once you get to a level where your basic needs are met, and you got food on the table and a roof over your head and clothes on your back, I've studied a lot of personal development, just like you have, Rod, on, happiness and all that kind of stuff. And they say, hey, it doesn't matter if you make 75 grand a year or $75 million a year. Once your basic needs are met, there's no difference in level of happiness. Now it's up to you. And when I got to that point, I started just kind of reflecting and thinking, like, where do I get fulfillment, right? Like, now that I'm there financially, where do I get fulfillment? And, I like the impact piece, right? I like paying it forward. I like creating a ripple effect. A lot of what you're doing is a big inspiration for me too, in that, if you can be a leader of other leaders and imagine how the compound effect that sets in and how many people's lives you can impact. And I truly believe that wealth is it's like sunshine, right? Like, there is no limit to how much there is, and you getting sunshine takes zero sunshine away from me. So it's truly the abundant type mindset. Yeah. And so I love just, sharing, coaching, mentoring, educating, and that's a big piece. But kind of like what you were talking about. Go ahead.
No, sorry. That's what drives me too, buddy. I love it. Please continue. I
was just going to say, like, the achievement piece, right? Like, that's, I think for some of us, like, the achievement and just seeing the numbers grow, it's not really because you need more. It's just because, I don't know, there's that growth element where if you're not growing, you're dying, right? If you're not ripening, you're rotting. And so just pushing the envelope. And what I love to see is other people who are like, I know I'm made for more. If this kid from suburban, blue collar Cleveland, Ohio can do it, I know I can do it, right? Like, that's a cool testimonial. And helping people kind of see outside of or more than what they can see themselves as.
Yeah.
Is a big driver for me.
Yeah, no, that's really rewarding. And so do you have any favorite quotes that you like? Anything, and then we'll move into real estate. But anything that I see behind you on the wall, it says your best. So you're focused on be your best. Got it.
It says be your best.
Be your best. I love it. I mean, love it.
So that's kind of like my thing. That's how I sign off on all my, like if I do a Facebook Live or it's on my email signature. And I think the reason for that is it's not like do your best, because that's an element in time. Being is continuous all the time.
Owning it.
Yeah, own it 100%. And it's not be the best, because there's always going to be somebody who is at another level. There's always going to be somebody who you're going to start comparing yourself to. The only person you can truly compare yourself to is yourself, I think, right? And as long as you advance from where you were 12 months ago or 12 days ago or 12 hours ago, I think that is the true achievement and moving the needle forward.
Couldn't agree more. Now I will tell you, I listened to Sam Zell on Tim Ferriss's podcast. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure there's another level beyond that one on the real estate front, but anyway, there probably is. But no, I love it. The
Catholic Church is the only one.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, all right, there you go. So let's drill down on some of the deals, because. In fact, let's talk about how you find deals, because we've talked about that at the mastermind, and you've got these unique ways of having people, bird dog deals for you and things of that. I mean, now you're into the larger assets, but maybe for those that haven't done it yet, can you share some of those strategies that you've utilized? I mean, you've totally mastered Facebook, and you're kicking my ass on Facebook. But tell me, some of those strategies and things that you've done, because they're pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I got some philosophical type thoughts on it, but I'll give you some actual strategies and stuff.
Well, start with the philosophy. We went there with the motivation first. Start with the philosophy.
So, have you ever seen, oh yeah, you did. Cause I know I posted on it and you were like, oh man, I got to go watch that. The Men Who Built America.
Yeah.
Remember that? Okay.
Say it again, cause I interrupted you. What's the video series?
The Men Who Built America.
The Men Who Built America. Guys, write that down. Okay, let me just tell you, it was it's about all the big titans that built this country, and it was so compelling that Tiffy even watched it, okay? So trust me on this. Just get it and watch it. It's that good. Yeah, anyway, please continue.
You can get it on, Prime Video or any of those for like $3 or $4, and it's so good. And I actually watch it once a year. It's one of those things that's kind of like when I'm goal setting in between Christmas and New Year's, I always watch that. And so one of the things I caught about a year ago, when I was rewatching it, was when they were not interviewing, but they were like quoting John D. Rockefeller, and they said something that was pretty compelling. It said, when John D. Rockefeller, the richest man in the history of the world, his company was 2% of the GDP of America. That's how big this guy was, right? So they said nobody will ever be that rich again in comparative to what he was able to accomplish. So they said he had a quote where it said, gamblers drill for oil, businessmen refine it. And I sat back and I kind of reflected on that. And I thought about, that's kind of similar to going out and sourcing deals, or maybe even sourcing money. Or you can look at it from a lot of different elements. And what I liked is I don't spend any money on advertising. I spend $0 on marketing. And I'm going to give you some strategies on how I found some deals earlier on. But now what I do is I educate, and I let other people go out and bird dog deals, let them go and drill for oil, right? If they're drilling, they might hit it big. If they're drilling, they might miss, right? Mm-hmm. But they're the ones out spending money, but at the time, and then what they need to sell it to somebody. So let me refine what I'm really good at, which is refining oil or the business operations and the asset management aspect of things. Let them go out and find the deals. They can bring it to me. I know it's a good deal. I don't have to spend any money on marketing, so it's a sweet setup for me. For them, they get a big payday or even equity in the deal long-term in perpetuity. So it's a good deal for them. It's a good deal for me. We can just focus on refining oil, refining buildings, refining commercial assets, and let other people go out and drill for them. And so that's really been my philosophy over the past year and a half of doing this.
Love it. Yeah, we bought 1,000 doors last year with our students as well. I mean, I love it. it's silly not to, and everybody wins, and same dynamic. Well, let's drill down on some technical stuff now.
Sure.
We'll get out of the foofy, and the analytical. Let's satisfy the analytical people on the call and talk about some brass tacks.
Yeah,
so
let's do it.
Facebook, I talk about some of those cool things you've done on Facebook, the posts you've made, and I've actually seen some people model it as well. I've seen some people try to throw those into my big multifamily Facebook group. We don't allow the promotion, so I got to delete them. But talk about it.
No, I mean, early on, I didn't even know the power of social media. Early on, I just kind of, again, I was in the coaching phase. My mom was a teacher, and I think being a teacher is an amazing, noble kind of thing. If there was more money in it, I probably would do it.
Right.
But I want to teach and educate in a different manner, and you can do that with real estate. And so I always just kind of like, hey, let me walk around this apartment building that I'm going through. Here's how I found the deal. Here's what I bought it for. Here's what the refinance is going to look like. Here's what the NOI is going to be. And I just kind of broke down the deal. And every time I did that and I talked about a deal, that's what really kind of gave me some momentum on social media. People would be like, dude, that's amazing. How are you doing that? Hey, are you looking for investors? Hey, I have this deal. Can I sell it to you? Hey, can I buy a deal from you? Can I joint venture with you? Can I invest with you? Can you, will you coach? Do you mentor? All that kind of stuff. And all these different things started coming from that. So I realized
just from going through an asset and talking about a deal, talking about what the potential upside was on the deal, the hair on it, just taking people through it. Love it, man. Love it. I will tell you, my most watched videos are when I do a due diligence live stream as well. Like that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, people love it, man. They love to see the how is it done, right? I understand the ethereal side. How is it done? And that's a big piece of it. So let's go into how do we find a bunch of deals? Here's how I find deals. I come from residential. So I just use the same strategies I used in residential into multifamily and commercial. So I'll give you an example. Driving for dollars. You see houses with boarded up windows. Guess what? There's buildings with boarded up windows.
Better believe it.
Pick up the phone and find it, right? Just like there's delinquent taxes on single family, there's delinquent taxes on apartment buildings. Sure. Dialing for dollars. Instead of calling for sale by owners, we call for rent by owners. And I actually pick up the phone, not me, but my acquisitions team does, and reaches out and says, hey, I'm not interested in renting your apartment. I'm interested in buying the whole building. Do you have any interest in selling? And just stimulating conversation, right? And at least meeting these people and planting seeds. And now might not be the right timing, but realizing that this isn't a get rich quick. Building wealth is a get wealthy slow, right? You got to have a long-term mindset to build a lot of wealth in real estate. And so timing is on our side, right? All you got to do is keep planting seeds, making the connections. And eventually when that person wants to sell, they're thinking about you.
Talk about your team. You said your acquisitions team. Talk about, how many people you got. What do they do? Just give us a little breakdown so people can see, how you do it.
Yeah. So I actually only have one guy. I have a director of acquisitions, and that's it. And we look at 400 deals a month in order to buy one or two. That meet our buying criteria. And
what is your buying? Hold on. What's your buying criteria?
So our buy box is 100 units or bigger. And typically we're in the Southeast, landlord friendly states. Right. We do a lot in the Midwest also. And then 100 units or bigger, A or B class workforce areas. So I don't care what the building looks like. We typically buy distressed buildings that are physically or managerially distressed. And we typically do heavy lift. It's usually more messed up than what the smaller investors can qualify for. And it's more messed up than what the hedge funds or the REITs want to get their hands dirty with. So we're kind of in this pocket where we're able to qualify for those kinds of deals and get financing for those kinds of deals. We're not afraid of rolling up our sleeves and doing the work. And we're really good at repositioning on the construction side. So that's typically our box. We don't do anything luxury. I think luxury gets hit when the market kind of shifts. And I think there's just way too much headache in managing C-class and D-class assets. I just don't want to do it. So you obviously use bridge debt right now to take down your stuff, and then you refinance, and all that. Now, are you seeing with COVID and everything? I mean, we saw the CMBS market is pretty much gone. A lot of bridge lenders are, totally gone.
Don't even answer their phone. Right.
Dude.
Right. So I was just going to ask you what the ongoing strategy is going to be based on the fact that bridge is pretty much, damn near non-existent.
Well,
by the way, guys, those of you in the single family space, bridge lenders is a fancy word for hard money lenders in the residential. It's the same. Okay. And it's the wild, wild west. A lot of, you got to really be careful because there's, a lot of charlatans in that space, but it's really dried up right now. So please Please
The
answer.
the thing with bridge loan, like there's still bridge loans that are out there. The local community banks will still give bridge loans, and these are like construction and rehab loans. And then there's the debt funds who actually have the money and they're lending their own money are still around also.
Right.
Who's really dried up are these like really the brokers, right? Like they're giving the loan and then they're selling the paper off. And because there's no secondary market to buy the paper anymore, most bridge lenders are just gone. Like there's 5% of them that are left.
Right.
So we either need to go through a local bank who's been inundated with PPP loans and that whole process.
Oh yeah,
they're non-existent.
That's right now, right? Yeah.
And then there's the debt funds, and the debt funds. I mean, it's truly hard money, right? Like they got you in a headlock, and
like 8% interest, 10% interest.
Yeah, 10 plus a point or two, and you have to be at a very, very low LTV. Fortunately, we have some really good relationships with a couple of debt funds who we still lend on some of our projects, as they know us and we've performed multiple times, so they feel good about us. But the other thing that we're doing is we're just getting creative on financing with the sellers. And so I got started, like I told you, in 2009. Yeah. So one of the things that we're doing right now is we're just getting sellers to seller finance.
Really?
Yeah. And
on large assets.
Yeah. So what I found is their price points aren't wavering whatsoever, but what is happening is they're more open to offering terms. So if we can say, hey, here's what we're going to do. The bridge lending realm is non-existent. We'll come in, you hold paper for 18, 24 months. We'll bring cash, give you some down payment. We'll improve the asset. If we don't perform on it, you get an improved asset back. If we do perform on it, then you just, you get.
Just to get a little bit micro for a minute, are these assets that already have underlying debt?
If there's not underlying debt, you can get them to just kind of
no issue there. No issue there.
If there is underlying debt, then we're taking a look at more of like an installment contract for deed, which is kind of like a car loan where you don't actually get the deed to the property until you pay it off in full. Or you could do a master lease with like an option to buy at a certain price point. So
you've done that as well. Okay.
Yeah, the attorneys, that's what they're made for, right? So,
okay. All right. Well, that's fascinating. And let me think.
Another one of the things that we're doing is money's free right now, right? Like you can get, if you're able to get like a 65% LTV loan, Fannie Freddie on the acquisition, like they'll give you sub 3% debt. Non-recourse, 10, 15-year terms.
And fantastic terms. Yeah.
It's unbelievable, right? And so I'm like, hey, typically my buy box is I got to be all in for 65% of that stabilized value. So if something's going to appraise at a 6 cap, I need to be all in for like a 9 cap. And that needs to yield me unleveraged yield a 9% cap rate. So what I'm doing is now I can go in a little bit closer to what the price point is of the true valuation. Maybe I can go in at a 7.5 cap. And I can go and bring financing, traditional financing, agency debt in place. And then I get the seller to then take back as the equity investor the other 20, 30, 40% down. So we haven't closed any like that yet, but we're having conversations. And there's one that's real close. We're getting under contract right now. So
I don't think I tracked that. Okay, forgive me, and I need you to run me through that one more time.
Yeah. So let's say I'm getting a 70% agency debt loan.
Okay.
$10 million building. I'm buying.
So you got a $10 million building. What's the purchase price?
$10 million. Let's say $10 million.
All right. So you're gonna get 70% agency conforming loan on that property.
Yep.
Okay.
And so then I'll say, hey, seller, like it's really hard for me to come up to your price point with all the uncertainties and all the nonsense that's going on. I don't know if I can get there, but here's what I might be able to do. If you're willing to hold back some paper, I'll bring 70% of the money, and then you come in and hold back 30% as either off the books kind of a thing, or as the equity investor with some sort of buyout in there.
Okay.
So once I give you the $3 million, you're out of the deal, but you're secured as an equity investor in the deal.
Okay.
The complication with that is you still have to bring cash.
Yes.
So I still have to bring $3 million to the closing table, but I can use transactional funding on that. The seller gets all $10 million, and then they give me $3 million back to pay back my transactional funding.
Yeah, I know that with conforming debt, you couldn't put it in there as a second loan.
It's not a second loan. So they'd have to come in as an equity investor.
Yeah, they'd have to come into either into the GP or even in the LP slot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of trust that needs to come in with it, of giving them all the money and then them funneling it back.
Right.
But you can, have the attorneys draft up some documents, keep it in escrow, and then it just kind of
Interesting. Well, let me know if you're actually able to put that through, and if the underlying lender would be okay with that transaction. Be interesting to hear. So I want to talk about that in the next boardroom. But I like the way you're thinking, man. And see, guys, do you see the way he approaches this? You've got to put on your problem solver hat, and the people that can solve the biggest problems are the wealthiest people on the planet. So talk about, I was looking for something else with the Facebook thing, because you had talked about what you used to do back in the day to get people to send you deals. And I don't want it to come from me. I remember, but do you know what I'm asking you about? How you'd make a post and you'd get people to bird dog deals for you and stuff? Do you recall that conversation?
I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but
you would do. Okay, I'll just do it. I mean, you would put in there, hey, I've got $500,000 burning a hole in my pocket. Yeah. I need to buy something right now, and you get people that would bring you deals, right? Nonstop.
It happens. It's something that I still do, and I'm as I'm sitting on cash. Like right now, I'm very cash heavy. We have a bunch of cash, a bunch of investors who want to deploy capital, and because of bridge lending, we're being a little bit more conservative. We're buying at a lower total all-in value. Right. And so because of that, we're only looking for smoking deals. So I'm sitting on millions and millions of dollars right now of investor capital that I want to deploy. And so, we sent out an email. Hey, we're sitting on $2.5 million. We're looking for deals that we can buy either cash for $2.5 million or lever up to $10 million deals. So send me everything you've got in these states or these areas. Then they send in all the deals. My acquisitions guy is able to sort through deals very, very quickly. He's able to kind of he knows what our expense ratios are in certain markets. He knows what the cap rates are in certain markets. He knows what the rents are. He can pull that up pretty quickly. So he's able to kind of just run through a few variables in his head and underwrite these deals in 2 to 5 minutes instead of having to plug it all into a calculator. And we make offers without ever seeing properties. Right. So that way we can sort through deals faster and get through more deals sooner than somebody else who has to take an hour or two to underwrite it. And then they want to go out and see the property before they make an offer. We've already made an offer on that 2 months ago, right? So it allows us to get and see more deals. And because we can sort faster, we're able to get into deals quicker.
Now, when you make all these offers, are you burnt? I mean, I would think that how often do you back out if you make an offer like that and they accept it? Because if you're not even seeing the asset, I would have a fear of burning broker relationships or some of these other relationships. Speak to that for a minute.
Yeah. Well, first of all, they know that I'm a real buyer. If I say that I'm going to buy something, if I'm buying at that price point, again, I'm all in for 65 cents on the dollar. So typically, if I am getting bridge debt on a $10 million value building, I'm coming in and I'm all in for $6.5 million. I'm assuming it needs $1.5 million worth of renovations. I'm assuming, $10,000 a unit right out of the gate. And so I'm coming in at $5 million. So I'm coming in pretty low. And if they're going to accept that offer, chances are they're pretty motivated.
Then you're gonna pull the trigger if they do.
Yeah, and I'm gonna buy it. Right.
All right. Got it. Okay. Well, I'm just trying to think. Again. I'm kind of hanging on that bird dog conversation. Talk about. I remember you told a story about how you'd have people bring you deals, and there was one lady that I don't know if she didn't even have a car or something, and you really took care of her. Tell that story because I want my listeners to hear that. Because guys, I want you to get some ideas how you can make stuff start happening for yourselves. So tell that one.
So. Who do we send this email out to? When we tell people, somebody that we've had money, I'm a residential guy from background, right? Like now I'm known as a commercial guy, but before I had an entire list of all residential wholesalers, flippers, brokers, agents. And so that's the list that I used. And what I did is I just dripped an email out and I realized this pretty early on. Residential real estate professionals know nothing about commercial.
They haven't got a clue. Brokers, realtors, none of them. They haven't got a clue.
But they come across deals that are commercial deals, and because they don't know what to do with them, they just discard them. They throw them away. So I sent out an email about 2.5 years ago, and this woman she was a wholesaler.
What was the email? What did the email say first before you go on?
I got $700,000. I'm looking to buy an apartment building.
Okay, got it. Okay, good.
It was that simple. Okay. I got $700,000 burning a hole in my pocket. I'm looking to buy an apartment building. If you send it to me, I'll either pay you a commission or I'll even kick you some equity in the deal. This
Right.
woman's a wholesaler. She had been calling on a whole bunch of residential single family houses. Somebody that she reached out to a week or 2 weeks prior had called her back and said, hey, I'm not interested in selling my house, but I have this 48 unit apartment building that my husband and I have owned for a long time. It's, it's really beat up, but we want to get out of it. Would you buy that? And the wholesaler, the girl goes, I don't buy apartment buildings. Sorry, hangs up the phone. Gets our email a week or two later, sees that, oh, maybe I'll put two and two together, maybe just connect them. She forwards the email to us. And this woman didn't have a car. She didn't have internet access. She went to the library to go and send this email to us. All right. And so she forwards it to us. We said, hey, if we end up closing on this, we'll pay you a 1% fee, right, for forwarding email. And 48 units. We bought it in probably a B, maybe B minus kind of an area. And we bought 48 units for $1.4 million.
Nice.
With her fee, some closing costs, and some other stuff. It was about $1.5 million we were bought it for. And then we put another about $500,000 into it. So we're all in for $2 million. And we're in the process of refinancing it actually right now. And it's looking like it'll appraise for around $3.3 million.
Nice.
So off of sending a single email to a residential wholesaler, I got a deal that ended up making me, my business partners, my investors, $1.3 million added to our network. A small deal, 48 units, right? It's not like this gargantuan property. And changed her life. Gave her a check for $14,000 when she was taking the bus to go to the library and come back and forth. And she's like, changed my life, right? So, hey.
Love that story.
I think we have a duty to go out and make an impact and do business and make as much money as we possibly can so we can help other people and employ more people and create more opportunities for others. So it's pretty cool. Pretty
beautiful, brother. Beautiful. I just wanted I wanted my listeners to hear that one. Well, listen, I appreciate you being on the show. I'm bumping up against a hard stop here. I got to go out to an asset that we're having trouble with out in Louisiana for a few days, and so I'm a little nuts. But it's great to see you, brother, and really appreciate you coming on and sharing some wisdom. And I know we'll be talking soon, my friend.
Awesome, Rod. Appreciate you and appreciate your friendship, man. Great to be here. Thank you.
Likewise. Take care, my friend.
Rod, I know a lot of our listeners are wanting to take their multifamily investing business to the next level. Now, I know you've been hard at work helping our Warrior students do just that using our ACT methodology, which is awareness, close, and transform. Can you explain to the listeners how they can get our help?
You bet. Guys, we've been going nonstop for 3 years, building an amazing community of like-minded people. And our coaching students, which we call our Warriors, have had extraordinary results. They've purchased thousands and thousands of units. And last year, we did over 1,000 units with our students. And we're looking to grow this group and take it to the next level. We're looking for people who want to follow a proven framework that's really step by step and then leverage our systems and network to raise equity, to find and close deals, and to build partnerships nationwide. Now, our Warrior community is finding success in any market cycle. So if you're interested in finding out more about how you can become more of our incredible network and take advantage of the incredible opportunities that are coming very soon, apply to work with us at mentorwithrod.com or text CRUSH to 41411. That's mentorwithrod.com or text CRUSH to 41411.